Absolutely gorgeous day here in Chicago. In the distance there we have Navy Pier. We are right along the coast of Lake Michigan. And if you are a tourist and you've never been to Chicago, I highly suggest you visit Navy Pier. But as far as locals here in Chicago, we never ever visit this place like at all. But anyway, sheesh, take a look at that, guys. Yeah, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, boys and girls, we will be taking a look at these newly released set of wheels from Magene. These are their brand new latest XR 508 UltraDark series of wheels. So in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about the specs on these wheels. We're going to weigh them out. We're also, of course, going to talk about price, because in my opinion, I believe these are going to be one of the new leaders in today's market when it comes to fantastic value set of wheels, especially for a set of wheels at this price point that are going to be very high quality and long lasting. So without further ado, let's begin. So if you are new to my channel, or if you've never heard of who Magene is one of my absolute favorite brands on the market today. Magene is a brand and a company based in China, and they produce a variety of different cycling components, things like wheels, cycling computers, heart rate monitors, indoor smart trainer, all these things. And I love the main thing that I love about Magene is they just offer high quality things at a very value focused price point. And with that being said, on my channel I have also reviewed a variety of Magene products, everything from wheels. I've reviewed their radar light, which I'm not using today. I've also have been using their heart rate monitor indoors, and everything that they offer that I have tested so far on the channel, it just works. It just really just works. So the wheels we're looking at today, guys, like I said in the introduction of this video, this is their latest XR 508 UltraDark series of wheels. So what has changed from the version of these wheels that I have reviewed about a year ago on this channel? What have they changed with this new series? Well, first and foremost, you can see aesthetically that they have gone with a black finish on these wheels with just a little bit of gloss on the XR decal. In the previous version of these wheels, they had gold decals, and I know a lot of customers didn't really like that. I myself, I was basically indifferent to it, but I do prefer this blacked out finish on these wheels. So that's the first thing that they've changed. The second thing that they've changed is versus the ones that retail for $1,300 USD, which, by the way, these wheels only cost $999 USD, basically $1,000. And I will have a discount code for you guys where you can save 10% off these XR UltraDark wheels. So like I said, they've changed the decal color. They're now black. And then the only other thing that they've changed is, instead of using ceramic bearings inside the hubs, which is you can get when you spend $1,300 on the top of the end version of these wheels, these ones opt for steel bearings. But essentially that is it. Those are the only two changes that you get for $999 USD. So basically for $300 less, the only thing you're only getting that's different is the steel bearings, but everything else is the same, which means you are getting carbon spokes, which is fantastic. You are still getting the same depth of wheels. So we have 58 millimeters deep in the rear. In the front, we have 50 millimeters depth. As far as internal width, the internal width on these are 23 millimeters internal. External is 30 millimeters as far as width goes. And what that means is, for these Continental GP5000s in the 28C variant, they essentially plump out the tires at the rim to 30 millimeters, which is fantastic, because what that means is you can basically lower the tire pressure on these wheels, versus if you were using a set of wheels that was using only 21 millimeters internal. And I have used these wheels everywhere. I've used these wheels for climbing. I've used them in my first road race that I've done this year, which I had my best results ever for this annual road race that I do. But you get everything that's identical to the $1,300 pair of the top of the line of these XR wheels. Only difference, like I said, being is the steel bearings. One of the other aspects of these wheels that is still identical to the top of the range model of these XR wheels is you still get the star ratchet engagement hub system. This particular one comes with 36 tooth. inside as far as the ratchet goes. Now the ones that I have on my Giant Propel, the top of the line ones, I have actually updated those to a upgraded rather to a 54 tooth ratchet. So you can go ahead and either on AliExpress, or if you do want the real ones from DT Swiss, you can upgrade the Star Ratchet hub for more ratchet tooth engagement, if that's something that you want to do. But the standard version comes with the 36 tooth ratchet engagement. Common question that I get for all of the wheels that I have reviewed on my channel is, especially with these ones, is how stiff are they? And let me tell you right now, these wheels are plenty stiff. And I would like to say that as far as all the wheels that I reviewed on my channel, the Magene EXAR set of wheels, they're probably some of my favorite wheels on the market. And at the price point, they're probably my favorite. I think the only set of wheels that I like more than these, they cost like, I don't know, $600 more, which are the Craft Racing Works CS 5060 wheels. But for these ones, the top of the line one being $1,300 before discount, and then these ones being $999 before discount. To me, that is a fantastic value for everything that you get. For carbon spokes, you get the ratchet hub, you get the wider internal width wheels, so you can run wider wheels, lower tire pressure. Another question people might say is, well, at this price point, you can probably spec these wheels from a different brand that maybe does OEM rims, and that might be true. But here's the thing, is a lot of customers, unless they're super duper savvy, they're not going to be going through all the trouble trying to reach out to these Chinese OEM wheel suppliers to try to spec out a wheel. They just want to be able to go to a website like Magene, which is very clean, pop in whatever they need into their cart, and then be able to have the wheels shipped to them. So if you are savvy, of course, like anything else, you can definitely spec wheels like these similar and maybe save a couple $100. But the reality is, your average customer, especially someone who's new to Chinese branded bike components, they're just not going to do all that. And then this is where, in my opinion, where a set of these wheels, especially at this price point, and I can't stress that enough, especially at this price point, these are a fantastic value and introduction to the set of Chinese branded wheels. Okay, no lie, this is probably the blackest LP that I own, culturally black that is. And it's quite fitting that we have an LP like this one, considering we are weighing out a set of wheels called UltraDark. But anyway, huge shout out to Isaac Hayes with the classic LP Black Moses. One of my favorite songs off of this collection of albums, because it's actually two vinyls in one complete LP, but with such classic songs as Going in Circles, You Got Me Going in Circles, oh, round and round we go. All right, so we're gonna weigh out the front wheel, 50 millimeters depth. Now, keep in mind, this does not include the tubeless rim tape. So for the front wheel, we have, what do we have? We have 643 grams, 643 grams. And again, that's without tubeless rim tape for the 50 millimeter depth front wheel. Next up, let's weigh out the rear wheel. Carbon spokes, of course, steel bearings, and the rear wheel is 58 millimeters in depth. So for the rear wheel, we have 768 grams, 768 grams, which gives us a grand total of 1,411 grams. I'll put somewhere what the advertised weight is from the website, but I do believe that is a few grams overweight, and that is before we add the tubeless tape. So let's continue. Next up, you might be wondering why I opted to pair these Magene wheels to my Polygon Helios A8X bike, which I have done a first look and ride video on these. I'll link it somewhere in this video. But the reason why I decided to put these wheels on this bike versus the bike that I have that have the top of the line, basically ceramic bearings versions of these wheels, is because when I first reviewed this bike was pretty heavy. At basically, it was 7.9 kilograms, and that was without bottle cages or pedals. And 7.9 is pretty heavy, although you are getting a complete bike for like $4,000. But as you see it right now, I have saved 600 grams since the way this bike originally came. So first and foremost, we got this cheap AliExpress saddle. This thing weighs like 100 grams. The original saddle that came with the bike weighed 300 grams, which was crazy. So that's 200 grams. The next up are the wheels. So the wheels that originally came with this bike was 1,600 grams, and it also came with butyl inner tubes and super slow set of tires. So by changing these wheels to TPU inner tubes and then just the wheels themselves, that saves like 400 grams. I'm not kidding. So 400 grams for just swapping out the wheels with TPU inner tubes and going to a lightweight saddle, that's like 600 grams. So now we're looking at like 7.3 kilograms, which is now back to a normal type of weight that you would expect for this aero bike like that. And of course, the tires that are on here, these GP 5000s, are going to roll a lot better than the stock ones that came on this Polygon. And it really does make a huge difference with how this ride or how this bike rides dynamically. And this brings me to my next point, why these wheels make a lot of sense. Because say you are someone, you're a customer who purchased a bike off the rack, meaning you bought a complete bike, and perhaps the stock wheels that came with your bike are either just pretty heavy, or maybe they just don't really perform that well. Because typically when you buy a complete bike, unless you're buying a top of the line bike, normally these bikes are being spec'd and priced at a certain price point in spec. So the wheels most likely are not going to be that great. So for these ones, for $1,000, you're getting a lot. Like I said, carbon spokes, you're getting a star ratchet hub, you're getting modern spec rims, all these things. And so even with this Polygon 8X frame set, the fact that it's so affordable at the price point for the complete bike, I still have money left over to be able to purchase these wheels, and I would still come in at a lower price point than some of the bigger brand names on the market. Now, as far as tire pressure goes, I've been playing around with the tire pressure on these basically for like the last year. Originally, I was running somewhere around like 73 in the front and then 75 in the back. And especially on my Giant Propel for these same wheels, it's a very stiff ride, which you might like. I prefer that, but for us regular folks, maybe if you don't want that amount of stiffness, these days I've been running more like 71, 72 PSI in the front, and then in the rear like 73, and like I said, with TPU inner tubes. And with that ride and quality and feel, it makes everything feel really good. And I do detect that there is a little bit more rolling resistance by just dropping the pressure, even just that 2 to 3 PSI. One thing I forgot to mention is Magene does include both a set of tubeless rim tape as well as tubeless rim plugs. So you have two different options to set up the wheels. However, I would prefer that Magene had installed the tubeless rim tape from the factory. This was a point of criticism that I mentioned even last year with their top of the line $1,300 set of Ultra wheels. So just know that if you do decide to purchase these wheels, you do have the options for both, which is good, but you will have to install the tubeless rim tape yourself. Free hub sound test on these Magene EXAR DB508 UltraDark wheels with the 36 tooth star ratchet hub engagement. So let's continue. So that's basically it as far as specs goes. Like I said before, the Magene EXAR Ultra line of wheels are some of my favorite line of wheels on the market today. Top two for sure. But as far as value and value proposition goes, this line of wheels for sure is my #1 favorite on the market today, beating out even the Craftworks, even beating out my Windspace Hyper line of wheels. For the price point and what you get, in my opinion, this is exactly where the pricing should be in the market. But anyway, let's go ahead and take these wheels out on the road so I can give you some of my thoughts. Now, granted, I have done a full review on these wheels last summer because the rims themselves, as far as the width goes, carbon spokes, the hub, etc., all those are identical to the top of the line, the $1,300 set of wheels. But let me just go ahead and briefly speak on this out on the road. All right, so I'm going to keep this pretty short. If you are looking to upgrade your set of stock wheels, if you are apprehensive about spending, say, $1,300 or $1,400 for a set of Chinese branded wheels, or if you are just looking to have a special occasion set of wheels, maybe for some local races or fast group rides, These wheels are a no-brainer. Fantastic value for what you get, and they really do just dramatically change the dynamics of any bike that you put these on. You're getting carbon spokes, you're getting a star ratchet hub engagement designed hub, you're getting a modern rim with 23 millimeters internal, meaning that you can use these wheels for a variety of types of rides and disciplines. I've actually used these wheels even on gravel and rough road type of terrain, just because the internal width on these are that wide. And like I said, for $999 USD, $1,000, they're spec'd and priced very, very well for what you're getting. And I noticed even on my Giant Propel, when I had these same exact rims on those, you could definitely feel how much the dynamics of the bike basically just changes with these wheels. And those are $1,300. So if you don't want to spend $1,300, really this is the way to go. And this feeling of changing the ride feel dynamically is not any more apparent than on this Polygon Helios frame set, because the stock wheels that come with these, again, they are being priced to a certain specification. These wheels just dramatically change the overall ride and dynamic of this bike. This bike now feels a lot more snappy, it accelerates a little bit better, and then being able that I'm now able to run slightly lower tire pressure with the 23 millimeter internal width on these wheels. That means the ride is more snappy, yet it's more comfortable over rough pavement, and it just does not get as disrupted over rough pavement because of these wheels, which is interesting because these wheels do have carbon spokes. So that's it, guys. That's really it. In my opinion, these are a must buy. I think these are one of the best values in wheels that you can buy today for the specs and for the price. And like I said, I will have a discount code for you guys to save $100 on these wheels. Fantastic price, fantastic value. So that's gonna wrap up today's video, guys. Of course, shout out to Magene for sending these out to me to test. But as always, questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. And I'm gonna check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.